Okay, so I'm back. You can see here I'm at my studio space and I've got my hot glue gun set up. And I have my X and my Y axis or front and side view of my piece cut out. I've got my base cut out, and I'm just going to simply hot glue those together now so that I have something sturdy that I can work from to keep adding to my form. Quick note with hot glue, this is a particularly hot glue gun. There are high temperature and low temperature. There are large size glue sticks. This is a large one. And there's small size ones. You can get one at the Dollar Tree or Walmart, anywhere like that. Generally speaking, for home use, I recommend the smaller size, low temperature. They're less likely to burn you. This really high temperature one will burn very easily. So just be really aware of where the glue is dripping. When you're gluing, make sure it's not going to fall down on your own hand or arm or anything like that. And make sure it's not dripping onto a nice tabletop surface or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue first. I'll glue the two pieces together, and I'm just going to squirt some glue in between my seam, and then make sure that it's kind of straight. I have a line drawn on there from when I cut it, so I can kind of try to follow that line. Nice thing about hot glue is it's flexible, so I can glue, and then I have just a little bit of time that I can adjust where things are located. Again, this is all just internal structure to my piece, so I'm not too concerned with it being really precise. Now I have to remember which direction I had this going in. There we go. I'm going to set that there, and I could take this and glue underneath, or I could just glue along the edge. Whatever is easier. Just kind of eyeball it, line it up. You don't necessarily have to glue it totally solid. You can kind of just tack it with little dots as well. Just make sure it's solid enough. If you find that it's not holding together, you could take make little tabs like this out of scraps of cardboard, and you could actually use those and glue them in to reinforce parts of your piece if you feel like it's not strong enough. Generally, I find that the three directions that the cardboard are going in should be strong enough. And I make sure to glue the top of this. And there's the start. I've got an X-axis, a Y-axis, and a Z-axis. Now I want to start filling in some of the space because I still have a lot of open space here that's not defined. So I find the easiest way to do that is just maybe choose a spot where you want to fill in. You could measure out equal spacing if you really want. For the sake of this, I'm just going to do this piece by piece. So I'm just going to mark that I want this piece to go right here. Maybe I make a mark on my X and Y axis, and then I make a mark of the distance there. And then, just like I did with the base, I'm going to draw an ellipse. Maybe I want this to be like a quarter of an ellipse. And last night I didn't have my X-Acto knife and cutting set up. So here's how you would want to cut with an X-Acto knife. And then you can see I've got a quarter of an ellipse, and I'm just going to place that right in that little corner there. If you find that it's a little bit too big, you can trim it down, try to get it so it fits pretty well. Again, be careful if you're gluing along the edge of your cardboard that you don't drip glue on yourself. Just that right in there. And then, because this is not supported underneath, until the glue dries, it will have a tendency to fall down. So just be careful that you don't set it in there and then turn around and then come back and it's already fallen down. So just kind of make sure to press it in, hold it for a second until it's ready. I'm just going to continue that process. Sort of cut myself a square corner, and I can either work my way around and kind of line those up, or I could work my way up one quadrant at a time and just kind of fill in that space. So it's up to you how you want to proceed, what order you want to do things in. I'll just kind of go around and maybe make one of these levels here. Now I've got a little hot glue that's kind of stuck in the corner here that's keeping this from going in. So I'm just going to cut the very corner off so it can fit all the way in. Now this section here, maybe instead of everything being convex, maybe I want a slight concave here. So I'm going to take my measurements. This would be what my convex form would look like. But if I wanted to go slightly concave, maybe I want this to start pinching in, and so I could do a bit of a concave. Again, you can cut this with scissors if that's all you have a setup for. And there's my first level going around. And you can see I've started a little concave area there. So this can be pretty quick and rough, and you don't need to necessarily measure anything out. This is, again, just going to be an internal structure of my organic form.